this was something interesting that I saw that they started doing on Road of the King. So I wanted to take a quick look at it before we jump into ENIAC Craft with Peeps. We have a little bit of time. I think this should be perfect to fill the gap. They're doing a 2023 to 2032 decade in review on Road of the King right now. And Road of the King, of course, you guys know that this is the site that we always take a look at the OCG metagame reports every every few weeks. So they have all the data because they keep posting all of the decks. So what they've started doing, because of course 2032 is still a long time away, they want to do a full decade of the Yu-Gi-Oh metagame and like follow all the way through in terms of like which decks are popular and so on and so forth. I think it's interesting. So this is a work in progress to be completed in 2033. Yeah. Best performing decks. The decks with the highest amount of tops for each format are shown with the percentage of the top cuts that they've achieved. So this goes from January 2023, and it's always, basically always 3 months is one format, because that, like, the OCG has like a little bit more set schedule on ban lists and formats and whatnot, but like we can see that, of course, 2023 started with 27% tier elements as the most popular deck. Then we went to 14.5% Pearly, 20% Rescue Ace, 18.2% Rescue Ace. Then we're starting to enter the Year of the Fire. We got Fire King at 27%, Henpai at 17.1%, Snake Eye at 20%. Ryzeal, actually, interestingly enough, the most percentage out of everything in the last 3 years was Ryzeal in October 2024 with 34.6%, even overtaking 27% of tier elements in January 2023, which is kind of crazy. Now, this is just for the OCG, and it's also worth mentioning that I believe in January, we can actually check, hold up, OCG metagame report 01 2023. Which version of this? Because this is not full power tier element, I don't think. Oh, it's pretty high power level though. Okay, this is the metagame report. This is the metagame report. But this one says 21.3 tier limit. Is this the same thing then? 27.4. Nah. But at the time, this is what tier limit looked like. This is what tier limit looked like at the time. Oh, this is without Kid Kolos already. Ah, okay. I looked at the main deck and I was like, that's still incredibly broken, but that's after Kid Kolos. Yeah. Yeah, Ryzeal 34.6% was even more popular than that, but I do think tier elements had even higher numbers the year prior. Then Malice took over 24.1%. Then Holy Sue came out 20.6%. Then Justice Hunters came out and Yummy took over. And right now it's Draco Tail. But there's a few things you can see from this graph. You can see like decks like Tier, Fire King, and Ryzeal were more dominant within their respective formats than others. This is, first of all, one of the things why I think this is an interesting thing. Like you can see like, okay, we all know that like at some point, like Pearly was a popular deck in the OCG, but it's good to see that, or it's interesting to see that it never reached numbers like Ryzeal did or tier elements did. And right now, as of October 2025, Draco Tail is the most dominant deck in the OCG, but this is the lowest representation for the best performing deck out of the last 3 years, which means that you could argue at the moment the OCG is in the least dominated format since 2023, right? Since Ishizu tier, basically. Okay. Meta flow. Oh, that's interesting. The meta flow of top performing decks. Okay, Pearly started out as number 3 and then jumped to 1 because tier element got eliminated after the early 2023. And then then Rescue Ace came out and jumped to number 1. Now, was it Rescue Ace that came out, or was it Rescue Ace just got support? What was it? Was it just Preventer came out? Probably. It's funny. it's funny, Tearlaments came back here. I'm just now noticing this. Tearlaments came back for one last ride in July at 12%. Preventer and Emergency, yeah. And this should be around the time that they also got Diabell Star and Original Sinful Spoils, right? Because that's also when Fire King came out and Fire King started to enter the format. And they used OSS as a consistency tool for Fire Kings as well. And then it was Tenpai release and Voiceless Voice. One thing I'm interested in is like which deck was meta for the longest. That's why I wanted to take a look at this, because we can see here like Branded was never the top tier deck, but it was part of the breakdown for like 3 formats in a row. Hurley had 3 formats in the row, and even in one format it was the most represented. Rescue Ace was the most represented deck for 2 formats, but then it vanished completely. Fire King was here for only 3 formats, which felt longer, honestly. But I guess it was... do we count Fire King and Snake Eye as the same deck? Not really. They were somewhat similar. But not exactly the same. They coexisted for a while, and then people just started playing more Snake Eye, less Fire King in it. But yeah, okay. Ryziel was here for 3 formats. So far, it's all been 3 formats. Never been longer than 3 formats. Yeah, nothing had more than 3 so far. Ryziel 1, 2, 3. Tenpai had 3 as well. Ubel had 2. Ryziel 1, 2, 3. Malice. Okay. Malice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is... that makes sense, but it's also something I guess that's worth mentioning, because like there's one particular argument and I want to talk about that real quick. Whenever I talk about Malice, there's always some commenters who say like, "Oh, why are you so mad about Malice? Why do you still want Malice hit? The deck has never won a YCS." Which is true for the TCG, by the way. But I think one of the things that's worth pointing out is that Malice was always here. Like Malice is, and this is also true for the OCG, like Ryziel was maybe more dominant for this one format, but then Ryziel also went away and Malice just never went. Malice just always there, and it's the same in TCG right now. Like Malice, I went to 2 regionals this past weekend, and we've gotten so many new archetypes since. You know, we got Draco Tail, Vanquish Soul, K9, Yummy, whatever, you name it. The deck I played against the most at those 2 regionals was Malice. It was my most played deck on these two days was against Malice. So it's not just about like, oh, it hasn't won a YCS. That is a very, very narrow way to look at this sort of thing. Like with every other deck, there's literally, I don't think, I'm looking through it, there's no deck that appears more than 3 times, except for Malice. Like Malice literally started out at 14% in October 2024. 1 year later, 1 entire year later, it's at the same percentage basically. It went from 14% to 13.3. That is kind of crazy. But yeah, okay. Blue Eyes was here for 2 formats and then it vanished. Orcust was here just once. Memento was here once. Vanquish Soul was there for 2 formats. Yummy was there for 3. But honestly, Yummy, on the next one, Yummy is probably going to be gone because they limited Snatchy. So I doubt we're going to see Yummy again. But yeah, Draco Tail is going to get its 3rd appearance next time. Mitsurugi is going to get its 2nd appearance. Sky Striker is going to get its 3rd appearance on the next update, I guess. I thought that was interesting. I thought, because like whenever I look at the OCG format or even the TCG format, I'm always so caught up in like the right now. You very rarely you lean back and take like a look at the grand picture and like where we've come from in the last couple of years. And there's a few things like the metagame breakdown, like the decks that are meta right now in the OCG, right? Draco Tail, Yummy, Malice, Mitsu, Sky Striker. Even though like I don't like Malice, I would still think that overall that's a pretty cool breakdown. Like I like Draco Tail, I like Yummy, I like Pure Mitsu, I like Sky Striker. If I compare that to Tearlaments, Tri-Brigade, Pearly, Emancipator, Kashtira, or Pearly, Mathmech, Emancipator, Kashtira, Super Heavy Samurai, if we scroll up here, like go back 2 years, I would say we've come a long way from 2 years ago in terms of archetype design. Or you look at Fire King, Voiceless Voice, Snake Eye, Tenpai Branded, or Tenpai, Snake Eye, Yubel, Fire King, Voiceless Voice, right? Like, if you look at the development that Yu-Gi-Oh has gone through between 23, 24, and the end of 25, it's massive. It's the direction is good, you know? It doesn't, not everything is perfect, but like, it's so much better now than it used to be. It's an interesting project, and I hope they keep doing it, and we might take a look at it again in, like, I don't know, 2 years or whatever when they do the next one, or 3 years, and maybe reminisce. I hope in 3 years we look back at this and we're like, yeah, it's gotten even better now, and not the other way around. I hope that's what we're thinking in 3 years, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I guess we'll have to wait and see.